at school that would refuse to do drama. That's how good at acting I was. Literally outright refuse. Not
So
even kidding.
is he acting now, or is he just being a dick?
Oh, is it working?
I think so. It says
It's
live
working.
21 seconds ago.
Oh yeah, it is. 21 seconds to go. I got 21 seconds ago. Sorry, that's a
Old
tune.
school banger.
That's so solid, crew, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I remember going to buy that CD.
I think the album, to be fair. A lot of it.
What, the album?
Yeah.
I think I just bought the single. But
It's
damn.
like when British music was its own
Interesting.
sort of entity, wasn't it?
Welcome in, Jimmy. How you doing, buddy?
Jimmy.
Jimmy's straight in, no messing around. There he is.
How's it going,
Jimmy the Fire Dragon. How are you, sir? We had a good time watching TK stream. Lots of good chat. And obviously me and Blam are here now. It is Grounded Tech Talk number 9.
Number 9.
I believe. Number 9. And yeah, it's been an interesting week, hasn't it? It's been an interesting week.
Lots to speak about.
But how are you, Mitch? Are you well? You had a good week yourself?
So just working, innit? Working, streaming, content creating.
Yep.
That event. Pretty busy, to be fair. Pretty busy week. Yourself?
Good stuff. Yep. Pretty similar, to be honest, apart from the work part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been a really it's been a very sort of up and down week. I felt quite unwell most of the week actually, but then at the minute I feel great. So let's just go with that, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, tech wise, there's been a lot going on. We've had the wonderful and extremely well produced Apple event, talking new iPhones, Apple Watches, and AirPods. AirPods Pro 2. Is there a 2 or is it just 22? I don't even know anymore.
Just the new AirPods, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't even know. But yeah, it's been also something else. I have received an Xperia 1.4. I have that now. Mitch has actually had it a little bit longer than me. Probably hasn't used it quite as much as me at this stage. We'll get into that. But the Xperia 1.4 is actually my webcam right now, so I can't really show it to you. I was going to say, Mitch, show them your Xperia 1.4. But again, we'll get to that. So I think we just, I mean, the thumbnail says it all. We should probably talk iPhone first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know you're somebody who uses iPhone quite a bit. There you go. See, he loves his iPhone.
My daily driver at the moment.
His daily driver. That is in contrast to your Pixel 6 Pro.
Which is that, yeah.
So, how was your experience with the 13 Pro Max? What do you think of the iPhone 14?
To be fair, I've had it for maybe coming to a year now. Solid experience. I have no qualms about it. Battery's fantastic, still fantastic since day one. Obviously, it does the thing I need it most, which is streaming. Does it well. Yeah, solid, absolutely solid. In terms of video, even though I'm not the biggest like camera taker or anything like that, or it's just a solid shooter. You literally can just point something, take it. It takes a really good photo. Same for video as well. Really good video. You can't go wrong with it. Cannot go wrong with it. You can see why many people like Apple.
I mean, I had the iPhone 11. Just a quick hello to Lenny. We've got Fracty in the chat as well. Good evening, guys. Welcome in.
Evening.
I had the iPhone 11. I had that for 18 months. I had no problems with it. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic phone, and that was just the base model. You know, I had more storage, but otherwise it was just the base model. I really enjoyed it. I do actually have a 13 Pro Max coming next week, though, so I'm looking forward to trying something a little bit more up to date. But when looking at these iPhone 14s, and I think the feelings on it are a little bit mixed. I think obviously the that there's still all the hype there from the people that love Apple and love everything that they put out.
Yeah.
But the iPhone 14 and the 14 Plus, we've got a Plus model back now, which I think will be quite popular. But comparing that price-wise to, say, a 13 Pro or a 13 Pro Max, I mean, the prices they're not much different. And I think if you were looking to get an iPhone, if you were looking at the 14 and the 14 Plus, would you go for a 13 Pro instead of the 14?
Yeah, to be fair.
If you could get one fairly like refurbished
Yeah.
in like excellent condition, it'd be a very similar price.
I think this is where Apple's really sneaky, because obviously they haven't really put much features into the 14, but obviously you've got that is it photo engine or whatever it's called?
Photonic
Photonic engine.
something.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
come on.
they've put that into that. So
That's
I
like
think,
when they said the deep fusion thing or whatever it's called. Like, and then we just couldn't tell any difference for
yeah,
however long.
yeah. But I mean, I think we probably won't tell the difference between. Well, it'd be interesting to see a difference between a 13 Pro camera and just the standard 14. But obviously, a lot of that photon engine thing, capacitor, Back to the Future,
Yeah.
was mainly focused on when they obviously announced like the Pros and stuff like that with the 48 megapixel
Yeah.
camera as well. So I think that's probably going to take more advantage of that piece of software within the Apple phones. So again, yeah, would you go for 13 Pro or 14 or the 14 Plus? I'm really excited to see what the 14 Plus's battery is going to be like. I think it's going to be a monster.
That will be a battery monster. It just will. Because 60 hertz.
Yeah.
Remember that, guys. 60 hertz. How much does it cost again for the Plus? Is it something
899?
like maybe even 949, possibly? I
think
think
it's
it might have been
$899,
$899, but I know we've got higher prices
Yeah.
than the US. So that's I am fully expecting every YouTuber that slated the Pixel 6a for a 60 hertz screen at £399 to be shouting from the rooftops about the iPhone 14 having a 60 hertz screen. They won't. No. 899 US, says Lenny. Which is what I thought. I know the iPhone prices here are higher. Maybe that's because we have a SIM tray.
Yeah. All that for the SIM tray. Yeah, so it is 949. Jesus.
949. 949.
949 for 60
Now,
hertz.
yes. How crazy is that?
Mental.
It is. But people will buy it. This is the thing. People will buy it. And you notice how Apple just were like, this is the battery champion. This is the battery on this will be fantastic. That's how they market it.
Yeah.
It is to me as a techie, that's a really hard sell, but I know people will buy it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know people will buy it, and they'll be totally fine. And again, like most people don't even care what screen refresh rate is.
Nope.
But when you're charging that much for that hardware, and also worth noting that they don't give you the new SoC in that 14.
Yeah,
and
last
14
year's
Plus,
chip.
you get last year's chip.
Which you would have thought logically would bring down the price. This is why I was hoping that the standard price of the 14 would be considerably lower this year than it has ever been, but no, it's the same.
Yeah. Fracty, what's he saying? Hopefully iOS 60 will make the 60 hertz look smooth as fuck. Normally does. Oh yeah, it's a really smooth 60 hertz. I mean, we're at the point now where there's not much more you can get out of 60 hertz. If anything. I think we've done that. We've been there and done that. 60 hertz, when you're charging that much, is not good enough. It's just not. It's just not. The 14 will be perfectly fine, as Lenny says, to the average consumer. that are spending that much on a phone. I don't know why average consumers would be spending that much on a phone to start with, other than
Exactly.
the usual fashionable trends and stuff. But yeah, as Lenny says, he has an issue with the tech tubers and speaking say the same truth. Yeah, it's there's no consistency, and we know this because of what happened recently with I think it was John Rettinger who posted on Twitter and did a video about it. The fact that he got removed from Apple's good list. He got blacklisted, sort of thing, by them because he criticized them.
Oh dear.
So so he didn't receive Apple products anymore. Now, apply that to every other YouTuber that receives Apple products, and you can see why not a real bad word, is ever said about them.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you trust anything? How can you trust anything to do with Apple or even Samsung, for that matter?
Yeah. It's like if the average consumer was in mind, I know Polsky's just come into chat, and he is an average consumer, more so Samsung. But
Yeah,
with
he
the
is.
iPhone 14, they could have easily cut costs with not actually including anything to do with crash detection. I mean, was anybody really asking for it? Was most cars? I found out. Obviously, I'm not a car driver, but most cars already have this. So if you have a car that's already, I think it's either Apple Play or just in general, if it's got Bluetooth between the two, it acts as a crash detector anyway. So if you have a crash in your car, there's some sort of module in the car that sends a message to your phone, which then sends the message to an emergency service. So is this really necessary? Could they have
And
taken that bit out and
that's
lowered the price?
something
Oh,
that's
good.
something that, because of regulations in Europe, that every car produced has to have that now going forward, I believe.
Yeah,
So, and you've got it in an Apple Watch, of course.
exactly. Yeah,
So, like, how many devices do you need that in? Really,
yeah.
doesn't make any sense
No.
whatsoever. Lenny, I think that happened to Unbox Therapy as well. Damn.
Yeah, he's been off that record for ages since he started
Yeah.
spending the iPhones with, I think.
But he's a slightly different YouTuber in the sense that
Yeah.
he's sort of mixed it up, and he does a lot of other podcasting talk about general tech and stuff. There's a lot of variation to what he does. I think other YouTubers like MKBHD and others are still going to be riding that train.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see anybody else until everybody does it. Until everybody does it, all of these YouTubers do it. Nothing will change. But the
No,
thing is, they won't. They just won't.
they've got it cushiony. Why would you?
Yeah, exactly. Like Fractus said, at least a 90 hertz display on the 14s would have been nice. I think like this the Pixel 6 route, 90 hertz on the base model, and then 120 on the Pros would have been the way to go. I think these days 90 hertz. I mean, come on. I mean, we have 90 hertz on phones that cost 200 quid.
Look at the A54. I think, yeah, that is literally a 200 quid phone. Upper A54, 90
Yeah,
hertz screen.
yeah,
But I think, again, it'd be Apple's way of weaseling their way out of that one would be, it's a new production line of a new screen we have to make. Therefore, we don't want to sort of like come into any sort of shortages like they did with the 13 and the 13. I think the 13 Pro had a lot of issues. I know from me working in the store, we had a lot of issues at one point getting the 13 Pro. So I think the way they'd weasel out of that of getting a 90 hertz would be like, to stop shortages, we're going to put it with the last year's chip, 60 hertz screen,
yeah.
and just a new camera module. To be fair, if they just did the bigger phone, last year's chip, yeah, a camera upgrade, no car crash detection because we don't need it.
No.
You probably would have had a decent priced phone, and it would have been a lot more appetizing for more people. But then again, they don't want to sort of cannibalize a lot of the 14, just standard 14 sale
Yeah.
numbers. I don't think.
I think the chip shortage thing does play into it a bit.
Mm.
Definitely. I believe that I could be wrong on this, but the 13 last year didn't have as much power on the SoC as the 13 Pro and Max did.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the 14 this year gets the fully unlocked version like what the 13 Pro and Max had.
Okay.
So it's going to be slightly more powerful than the 13, but not to the point like Fractis said there. They've unlocked an extra the extra GPU core, basically.
Oh yeah, I've just seen
But
that.
that's not even going to be noticeable. Nobody's going to have a clue that that's even been done. And in all honesty, Fracty, it's not going to make any difference to a 90 hertz display. Apple's chips are so much more powerful and beyond what is on Android currently. They're not going to have any issue. They could run a display 144 hertz or whatever else. It wouldn't even be an issue for it.
No.
So they should have higher refresh on those lower models now, even if it was just 90 hertz. I'd be very happy with 90 hertz.
Again, it all plays into Apple's sort of like yearly thing. They have to do these yearly things. They have to pull back things so to make the next model seem appetizing to the next person. Like, right, okay, we're bringing promotion to the iPhone 15.
Yep. We have Barry Johnson. Bazzer is in the chat.
Barry.
No worries, mate. Barry. You're all right, mate. It's only been, 15 minutes? Yeah. Good to have you in. Appreciate it. Something else with the obviously the 14's got a larger sensor this time around, which is nice to have the camera upgrades. 14 Pros have the much bigger upgrade. We've got the 48 megapixel sensor on there, which is a big upgrade for iPhone. It is a big upgrade. The only thing I would say to people that are expecting great photos out of the gate is that Apple will not have the computational photography all worked out for that straight away. They've had 12 megapixel sensors for years. It's going to be a very similar situation to how Google has been with Pixel 6. That's what I think anyway. They're gonna need time to get used to that sensor. So yeah, don't be expecting miracles from that straight away. In my opinion.
And there's a lot of obviously the introduction of satellite feature as well.
Yep.
I know working obviously within the mobile phone industry, literally the conference call of that morning was literally shouting and praising about this and making it relevant to customers. But obviously these people didn't understand that it wasn't coming to the UK straight away, and you only get it free for 2 years. But then obviously you think about it, people normally change their iPhones every year at least, especially the ones that are part of like the fully committed to the Apple spiel. But yeah, again, would I ever use it with being in the Lake District? Do I walk that far into the sticks? Probably not. So
no, I mean I did see a tweet and I can't remember who it was, but they were basically saying that they're sort of doing this thing where I'm out in the wild and I've broken my leg. Oh no, I need help. I'm gonna just contact through this satellite feature. Oh, my subscription ran out 2 days ago. Like it made me chuckle. I can't remember who said it, but it was amusing.
It's true. To be
kind of correct. Yeah, I thought that was pretty hilarious.
So, I need to sign into my Apple ID to get the subscription. Oh wait, I've got no signal. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be awkward.
Yeah. Something to say, grandkids. Why did you switch to Android, Granddad? Well, this happened.
Would you be around to tell the story, right?
Yeah. Some sheer luck of miracle, someone comes along with a 2G phone. It's like, oh, I've got signal. Use my phone.
Yeah. Did you see, Jimmy says, did you see Steve Jobs' daughter was making fun of the 14 lines? I didn't see the actual, I saw somebody talking about it, but I haven't actually seen it. What was actually said, out of interest? Can't imagine it was too bad. But I think there's been plenty of us mocking Apple over the last couple of days. It's been I had a tweet blow up.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Kind of.
Congrats on that one.
That one seemed to strike a chord. It was actually quite amusing because somebody quoted it and said that there's all these iPhone fanboys in the chat trying to spark some sort of Android versus iOS or iPhone war without realizing that the picture's actually a Windows phone. It's just
Duh.
it literally summed it up. It was crazy. So it was a very amusing couple of days. Let's put it that way. Oh, we got Jeff in. Hey Jeff, how you doing, sir? I think we're starting to hit peak iPhone. Same chip as last year, and it's likely no one will notice the difference. Even A16 Bionic, only 17% faster than A15. I thought it was very clever. I thought it was very clever.
Hmm.
That they did those charts, Jeff, and they did the what was it? The A13, the most powerful chip from the competition, which wasn't quite as fast as the A13, and then they had the A16 and showing it was much better than the A13, but obviously that's the A13, not the A15. So they were
Mhm.
trying to show the A16 had a much bigger improvement. It was very sneaky and typical Apple actually.
Hmm.
There wasn't really much information on the bar graph, and I don't even know what the actual measurement was, what they were doing with this test. It was just a bar. There was no information,
So,
literally nothing.
so here's one short bar. Here's our product. The bar's off the scale.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all you need to know, boys.
Look how much more performance we get.
Yeah.
Yes, but in what?
Yeah, yeah.
In what?
In screen unlocks.
Oh, well, they have more performance in always on displays
Mm.
because you get the whole screen. You get the whole screen. It doesn't just light up the bits of information you want like an always on display like on Android.
Mm.
You get the whole screen, which to me is kind of like you're just dimming the screen.
Yeah.
All the pixels are still turned on, so surely that's worse.
Mm.
Have they just been desperate to do something slightly different?
I think it also. I think the concept stems from the Apple Watch, and obviously that on always on display, isn't it? Because that was never sort of like it
Hmm.
completely just shuts off. Obviously, there's a lot more sort of like black area on the Apple Watch compared to what it looks like on the phone. It's an interesting take on it. I mean, I don't know how that's going to pan out on release. I reckon I probably see there is going to be a bit of issue with it in terms of battery in real life usage. I think that probably caused the most issue, if anything, in the Pro models.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just wondering how it'll affect battery life. To be honest,
Mm,
that's the main thing.
yeah, but then again, I mean, if the A16 is meant to be like the new all powerful chip, and if the tech works the way it should do, I can't see it affecting it lots.
Hmm.
At least I
Yeah.
hope not, because I mean, I wouldn't want to trade in a 13 Pro Max and then realize, oh, my battery's like worse, because obviously that's no good
Yeah.
to me. I could live without an always on display because I could just double tap my phone and it just shows me stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of people saying that obviously the always on display on a Windows phone was a lot
Mm,
different to
mm,
the iPhone way of doing it. I mean, yeah, sure, but yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I'm not keen on having my whole display still turned on because
mm.
I'm also worried about burning as well with the OLED. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We've got Greg and Aman in the chat. We're missing a few comments here. Let's just quickly scroll back up. We've got. It was that fell to the 13 and the 40 with the guy in the red shirt about it being the exact same device. Okay, right, yeah, I get you. That's pretty funny actually. That is
Mm.
funny. I'm a little bit disappointed, says Lenny. They didn't upgrade their HDR or zoom capabilities. Hmm. I didn't realize they'd not upgraded the zoom. Isn't it
Uh,
only like a 3x?
mm. I think it's still a 3x, but then obviously with the 48 megapixel lens, apparently you can now do a 2x, which is what this can. Well, it's got now a 2x setting. I mean, you know me, I
Oh
don't use
yeah,
my
there's
camera that
a
much.
there's a you can use like the full resolution of
Yeah,
the lens, can't you? So
that's it.
if
Yeah,
you do like if you do a raw file, you
yeah.
get the full 48 megapixel shot, which is something we want Google to do
Mm-hmm.
with their sensor. Give us a
Yep.
full 50 megapixel. Um, I don't know about the HDR. I mean, the HDR on the 13 Pro didn't seem fantastically good in what I've seen in comparisons. But I don't know if the this photonic thingy bob has anything to do with how the HDR works or whatever else. But we'll have to see, I guess.
It is literally it's all having to wait and see, isn't it? Really, like with every generation of iPhone, obviously it'll get bigged up just before the release. Obviously, people will be like, oh, "I've had my hands on this for the past 2 weeks, past week or so." I think the most trusting sort of reviews is like at least a month into it, when you've had like at least like a first sort of like update, stuff like that that irons out all the. I mean, I won't be getting it straight away. As much as I like the dynamic island, I know a lot of people think
Oh,
it's a
here we
bit
go.
gimmicky.
Here we go.
I love the aesthetic of it. I really do.
Oh,
I really, really do.
oh man.
I really do.
Oh no.
Yep.
Oh, right. Anyway, we may as well talk about it. We may as well talk about it. It's here now. Mitch had to bring it up. He just had to. It's his fault.
It is my fault.
So, the Dynamic Island. Ridiculous names aside, looks pretty cool. I'll get. It's very interesting piece of software. Sure. But it's also to solve a problem that they created themselves. And at the same time, you've still got that cutout there when you want to watch a video.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like that's even more obtrusive than a bloody notch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you've got the pixels around that side. How it will be for Wild Rift or mobile gaming, I personally don't think it'd be any worse than having that notch there anyway, because you're not even going to be able to use that kind of screen anyway. There's not enough real estate in that little like piece between the island and the top of it to actually even do anything with it. A cool thing would be if they managed to make the dynamic pill work in a game to act as some sort of function. That'd be cool. But I like, as much as it's an Apple thing. They probably could have just moved all that into the top part of the screen and just had no pill. But the fact that they've sort of, I think it's here to stay for quite a while. The fact that they've implemented, not just like put, oh, here's a pill on your screen. You're going to be dealing with that for a few generations with no actual use. They've actually done something with it. So I think it is here to stay for.
Do you think they
while.
did that because they thought it looked ridiculous on its own?
Yes. Yeah, because when the phone's turned off, isn't it like you can actually there is actually a gap between them, isn't there? So obviously between the
Think
one camera,
so?
between the one camera and then obviously the longer part where it looks like an eye, that's actually meant to be turned off. So obviously it's always turned off, those pixels there. So obviously with it being an
Right.
OLED screen, those parts always turned off. So I've heard, and I'm pretty sure that's how it is going to look. Is like when you actually have the phone turned off, you can actually see the one bit there and then the other oval bit next to it. But when it's actually turned on, it just looks like the pill. Obviously, we
Right.
can't call it a dynamic pill because it just sounds weird.
I'm still calling it the pill.
Yeah, it sounds like some sort of
I am.
contraception.
I just am. I can't.
Here, take the
I
dynamic
can't
pill.
call it the Dynamic Island. My God. It's peak Apple. Like in terms of their whole sort of naming marketing bull. Oh my God. I honestly, when I heard them say that, I cringed so hard. More than I ever have in regards to a piece of tech. It was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Greg, how about that Dynamic Island? Yeah. How about that? How about that? Barry, HDR was your biggest disappointment. Yep. It seemed pretty weak compared to the competition in every case, pretty much, from what I could see. Lenny, that's people in general, Dan. They would always ask me if my Windows phone was the new iPhone. Yeah, I remember getting my my Lumia 1520 and I first took it out into the street from work. And obviously, there weren't massive phones around like that at the time, other than maybe the Note. And even that wasn't as big. And the first thing somebody asked me was, is that a Samsung? You know. just how it is. Just how it is. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? The dreaded a-hole. Yes, yes, Greg, indeed. Oh, this is of interest to Mitch here, right here. Warzone, Valorant, Rainbow Six, etc. games will release next year in mobile, so main performance will be seen next year. There's still some games out now that you can test performance on, man.
Oh yeah,
Like you know,
massive.
you've got
Genshin.
PUBG, you've got Apex, Genshin, you've got a lot of stuff out there that can push these phones pretty hard,
Yeah, I mean,
pretty hard.
again, the reason why I'll always probably go back to an iPhone for streaming is not only the fact that it's easy to connect. Not only do you have a non-wired version, I know a lot of people use like it's not there's like AirPlay. Obviously, that's the Apple term for it, but there is a lot of that what people can use for Android. But
Hmm.
none of it works as seamless as the Apple stuff. Um, Again, 120 frames per second on most mobile games. Android phones haven't quite got there to the fact that they can keep a constant 120 frames per second, whereas an iPhone, I've not seen it drop.
No, I think a lot of that lends into the issues with the Snapdragons the last couple of years with
Mm.
the Samsung fabrication. That hasn't helped. The 8 Plus Gen 1 seems to actually be somewhat better, but I haven't
Mhm.
tried one of those yet.
No.
I know with the 865 on my Xperia 5 II, I could do Call of Duty Mobile at 120 FPS, and that
Yeah.
was beautiful. But other than that, I do. You can't. This is the thing. Apple do have this lead with their chips. They just do.
It's like when
Everybody knows that.
yeah, when people used to talk about it, saying, "Oh, I don't know why you haven't got an Apple phone for gaming," I used to think, "Well, it can't surely be that leaps and bounds above the rest." But when I
Mm,
had my little Android flick or flint of just going on loads of different Android phones in a brief amount of time before going back to an iPhone, the gap is there. It is definitely there. It's undeniably there. Yeah, Android phones probably can do things much better than than Apple in a lot more fields, but the fact that the performance, the less RAM, obviously the chipsets are more sort of um energy efficient. You don't see battery
mm.
draining that much. The fact they're not really marketed as a gaming phone is, I think they're losing out quite a few people there.
I I reckon Apple could do an iPhone dedicated to gaming, and it would actually do
Mm,
really well.
it really would.
Like if they made an iPhone catered specifically to gaming,
Mm,
and then
well,
started to push the games and stuff on their store more.
yeah.
There's battle lines being drawn there anyway when it comes to
Hmm.
gaming, and you never know. Apple might jump into that at some point, especially as a publisher and
Yeah.
whatnot as well.
Mm.
It could be a big market because mobile game is just growing and growing, so
Oh
it
yeah.
is going to keep growing.
Yeah. It's massive.
You know, even when you've got consoles like the Nintendo Switch that runs on ARM architectures, like
Mm. I mean,
it's
what game did we recently just get on mobile as well? Was it is it Project Winter, the kind of Among Us one where you play in like a winter sort of setting? That's just come to mobile as well. That's something I really want to check out and play with a few friends. I think that'd be
hmm.
good. Project Winter, is it? Yeah, so that's free. So it's like an Among Us one. I don't know if you've ever played that one. You've now got well, it's been everywhere. Is Dragon Trail? That's meant to be another good like pretty much like an A plus title for an online for mobiles and stuff like that. There's loads.
There's a
It's
lot of stuff
mental.
coming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
Mm.
I mean, especially when you look at something like Diablo Immortal that
Yeah.
was received so badly
Mm.
in terms of its microtransactions and things, but
Yeah.
has made an absolute fortune, and people are still playing it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as that saddens me, but it just means that there is a lot more money there, and I would say that developing for mobile is probably just as easy as developing for a console. I mean, obviously you've got more phones to deal with, but
Mm.
there's still variations in chipset and things. It's not really much different to developing for PC.
Yeah.
So
I think that's another pro about iPhone as well. They don't have as many chips to actually focus on when it comes to developers and stuff
yes,
like that. They've just got like a little handful. Just fine tune it for each one of those chips. Boom, they've done. That's it.
yeah. Which is the same argument that used to be sort of used for like consoles versus PC as well. Is
Mm,
that it was just easier to develop for the consoles because everybody's got the one same console or the two
that's it.
consoles that are very similar. Got all these different components to mess around with.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no denying they've got that chip advantage. I feel like Snapdragon in particular have enough power in the chips now. They just need to work on the efficiency side. I think that's what stops the games being able to run at the frame rates that you want. It's just those
Mm,
thermal limits and then the throttling, and it just kills it. So if the 8 Gen 2 is if it turns out as is rumored that they are working on efficiency for that particular SoC, next year for Android could be really good.
mm.
It could be really, really good. It's not going to have necessarily the power that the A16's got, but
Yeah.
it's going to be plenty powerful enough for what will be out there.
Mm. I think, my personal opinion, the phone that has probably for me the most capability of actually catching up with Apple and probably doing something close to what Apple can do is probably going to be Oppo.
Well, with the X5 you had, and the X5 that you
Mm,
had before, that
yes.
one seemed to run fairly well for you, didn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that phone. I really think that they are the brand to watch in Android sphere.
I think
Samsung,
there's
nah.
I think in terms of like normal phones, definitely, but obviously on the Android side, you got some dedicated gaming phones
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
are like you've got your ROG
Mm.
phone, you've got the Red Magics.
But even some
They
of these
are
dedicated
insane.
gaming phones, they miss out a one core feature: HDMI output.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't have a
That
gaming
that's
phone.
just a must.
Yeah, you can't ship out a gaming phone and have no connectivity for it other than Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
It's
and I
mental.
agree. Even something like the Poco, is it F4 GT?
Yes, yeah,
See that would be very nice if you just had the HDMI out, well
yeah.
the video out. It'd be spot on. Just some sort of functionality there.
Yeah.
Even if there's just a software feature to try and get around the hardware limitation or something. I don't know. But they need it. They need to appeal to streamers, and that's a big market at the minute. I
Yeah.
do feel like that's going to grow as well.
Mhm.
And while we're on the topic of mobile gaming, Sony have a event coming up to do with mobile gaming hardware, which looks like it's probably the attachment that they revealed at the Xperia 1.4 launch, but not entirely sure
What
at the
attachment was
minute.
that?
But it was literally like a controller that it slots into, and it's got like an active fan, active cooling on the back and everything. Looked pretty cool.
All right, okay.
No pun intended. But even then, obviously, the Xperia is still running an 8 Gen 1, so even with the
Hmm.
active cooling, I don't know if it's really going to... I mean, it's definitely going to help, but I don't know if it will necessarily do enough to keep the performance sort of at the level that you'd want it.
Yeah.
But it looks very good. It looks very, very good. So that might be something you could have a look at if you have the Xperia long enough. Probably not.
Hmm.
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, that's something that I will potentially have a look at
Yeah.
because I'm probably going to be hanging on to the Xperia.
Mm.
And yes, that means we are talking Xperia now. And Mitch, where's your Xperia, mate? Your Xperia 1.4, the one you got last week?
It's in its box, factory
It's in its
resetted.
box. It's in its box. Factory reset as well.
Nothing's on it, mate.
Damn.
Absolutely nothing.
Damn. Oh man. Wow. Okay. Okay. I mean, the thing is, right, we should just clarify, right? When it comes to phones in particular, Mitch does a lot of gaming. He is a mobile game streamer. He
Mhm.
streams and plays these games a lot. Whatever phone he has, has to be good for mobile gaming. Has to be. So you got the 1.4. How many? When did you actually get it?
So I came back off holiday, back into work. I'm gonna say about 31st of August.
So you've probably had it for what, just over a week? You've had it
Yes.
about a week longer than me.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it in the box? Just
So,
go for it. Just go away. Take
so
it away. Sorry, don't go away.
obviously,
Don't go away. Take it away.
yeah. I'm going. See you later. But yeah, obviously it's got its gaming enhancer part. I've tried all this. I thought it was really cool. Initially, I was really impressed with it. Obviously, with the integration of being able to live stream from YouTube, I really wanted to test that feature, but it just got to the point where I just hated the device to the point I just like don't even want to test that because it's testing me. But on a lot of mobile games, you'd be trying to press certain things and they're just dead zones. It was just mega dead zones on the screen. It was just like, this is meant to be sporting a 240 hertz touch rate phone screen. It's
Yeah.
not. It's definitely not. It was so frustrating. So many missed kills, deaths due to this. I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing it. Wildrift's aggravating enough. I don't need this niggling in my side, like, oh, you could have got that kill if you didn't have that Sony phone.
While you're solo queuing and losing every
Yeah.
round.
Not
Yeah.
losing every
I can
round.
understand. Not losing every round. No?
No. We
No,
good.
you're too
We're
good for that. You're too good for that, right? Too good. It's interesting because obviously I don't play the games that you play.
Mm.
Other than like I play Mobile Legends occasionally. I haven't played it for a little while, but I am going to load it up on this soon and see how that goes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I think I mentioned to you before that I watched a review of the Xperia 1.3 from last year, from Techspert Chris,
Yeah.
UK content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing Genshin as part of the review and also had the same issue where it'd go to tap stuff but it wouldn't respond,
Oh, okay.
which he then didn't have on the 5 series. So it seems to be some sort of touch response issue with the 4K panel, potentially. Like I say, on the Xperia 5 2 that I still have, trying to get rid of it, still have it. It had no issue. I had no issue with it. So I don't know if there's some sort of inherent issue with that phone, with this phone, the phone right here that I'm using as my webcam right now. Yeah, it's difficult. So it's going back. Mitch is done with it.
It is. Yeah, no, to be fair, a lot of my colleagues got it as well, obviously, due to the promotion and obviously on
course.
O2, switch up, getting a free TV. Even my area manager's doing it. That's how.
Really?
So
Wow. That's great.
That's how much we're exploiting the switch up on O2 at the moment.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, I can't justify.
What are their opinions on it? Have you spoken to
They
them about
hate
it at all?
My
Really?
my assistant manager's using it as his daily driver, and he absolutely hates it. He's gone from a Pixel 6 Pro to that. Doesn't like it at all.
I mean, this is the thing. A Sony Xperia is a very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Like this phone is designed for people to do, but like you say, it is supposed to be good for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be. So if there's an issue with the touch there, that's not good.
Nope.
But when it comes to the features that I need it for, that I want to use it for, so far I am very impressed and I'm very happy with it. But I will say the battery life is not good.
You may be able to enlighten me on this. Do you know, for some reason, when you go to take a photo on it, the preview looks absolutely terrible, but then when the photo comes out, it looks really good. Why is that?
They don't have like the, like when you've got Pixel in the viewfinder, you get the HDR and everything in there, where I don't think the Sony works in that way in the viewfinder. So you don't actually see it. But then when you take the picture, you then see it.
No,
So I don't think they have like a live preview sort of thing.
Oh, right, okay. I think that's the thing I find. Well, a lot of the people who have had it in my work as well find
Yeah,
really frustrating. They go, "Oh my god, I'm trying to take a photo and it doesn't look good," and I was just like, "Just press the button, it'll look better," and
yeah.
then it does look better. And it's just like, well, it's a bit weird because you're trying to capture a moment, but it's not
Mm.
capturing the moments as you see it. You've just got to try and take that sort of like lucky shot and hope that it turns out the way that you see it in real life.
I think
And
it might
not
be
on photo.
that it's not there in the preview when you're using the auto settings.
Mm,
I think when you're using the manual settings,
okay.
or if you're altering things,
Hmm.
then it does show you more of a preview. I can't quite remember, but it might do. But in auto, definitely, like
Yeah.
you take a picture and it comes out looking different to how it does in the viewfinder. But I
Yeah.
think that's just how it's been on a lot of phones over the
Mm,
years. It's just that now everybody's so used to having that auto HD, having the auto HDR and everything. Just look at you, just see it in the live preview,
yeah.
which is nice when you've got it on a Pixel 6 and things. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah, I don't particularly have much of an issue with that. I just sort of take the picture and just trust it, unless it's low light anyway.
Mm, yeah, I think I've just been
And then
spoiled by too
then
many
it
phones.
just and then it just yeah, it doesn't. The thing is, you have to treat an Xperia like you treat a normal camera.
Mm,
It won't do everything for you,
yeah.
which everybody wants the phone to do it for them because
Mm.
it's a phone. You're just taking a picture. You want it to just take the picture.
Yeah, I say
So,
I'm not well
but
versed in
again,
cameras, so yeah, probably that's probably
yeah,
where a lot of the battle comes from as well.
yeah, and you've got all these phones now that are so good for like low light shots. You've got your nighttime modes that just kick in automatically and whatnot, and people are just used to getting good shots from their phones.
Yeah.
And then if they go to an Xperia and they don't really know, they're not really into photography. They're not like photographers that use cameras and whatever else.
Mm.
It's difficult.
Oh
It's
yeah, definitely.
difficult getting a good shot unless it's like full daylight.
Yeah.
It can be tricky. It can be tricky. I mean, even I struggle with it at times, and I'll be using it in sort of low light, and to the point where I'm like trying to take a shot. The auto doesn't come out very good because it takes too long on the shutter. And then I'm like, well, I'll have to go into settings. I'll mess around with the shutter speeds and everything else. But then you can quite easily lose a shot by then
Yeah.
as well. So, if that had been a pixel, I could just take the shot. The night mode would have kicked in.
Yeah.
I've got the shot. So I can see why people do get frustrated with it. But at the same time, they have to sort of recognize that that phone is just not for them,
Yeah.
which is, it's just how it is,
Mm.
unfortunately. But that's why Sony's focused on a specific niche of people.
Yeah.
And they're not intending to capitulate and add all these fancy night modes and whatever else. They want you to actually take the photo and be a photographer.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Although I will say the video features are very very good. The video is excellent. Like that's straightforward. You just go into Video Pro, start recording. It looks great.
Mm.
The only thing I will say, obviously, we've had a lot of people talking about thermal issues.
Hmm.
Did you have any thermal problems? Was there anything in
Yes.
particular?
Yes.
Was that more so with gaming or?
To be fair, it wasn't like it got, for example, like the One Plus 7 Pro that I had like literally years ago, or even the S10 when you use that for streaming. It wasn't sort of like a gradual to the point you'd burn your fingertips off so you could commit crime and no one would actually recognize that you'd done the crime. It's just like a
Right.
constant heat. So it's like a stabilized heat. So it doesn't actually
Yeah,
affect the performance of the game. It's warm in your hands, which a lot of people, even including myself, I don't really like having that really warm feeling in my hands because one, you get sweaty playing games anyway. So
sure.
you could do without that, and that's the thing that frustrates me the most as well with it. It's sort of maybe that's what it's to do with the mistouching and the actual not activating the touches because it's not registering the heat from your hands. It's just literally registering the heat from the phone
Maybe
rather
the
than that.
heat from the phone is affecting the
Yeah,
touch
it's like acting like it's already
ability.
been
That
touched like
actually does make
somewhere.
sense.
Yeah.
That actually does make sense. You know what? I might actually try that
Mm,
and see if I get the same issue as you. And then if this game accessory comes out
it might fix it.
with the active cooling,
Mm,
and see if that has an effect. That
yeah.
that that very well could be it.
Fingers crossed it's
Interesting.
something simple as that.
Hopefully. But it won't be. It won't be surprising to me if it was the heat that was affecting it
Yeah.
potentially. Yeah. But also, something that I noticed with it as well, because obviously a lot of people that have had the Xperia 1.4 and have complained about not being able to record. Like they've been able to record for like 30 seconds and the
Yeah.
phone shut off, or they're not even be able to record for 30 seconds, or just having the Photo Pro app open and the phone overheats and shuts off. It's like I haven't had anything as extreme as that, to be honest. I know now that there's been updates and things, but the only time I've actually had a slight issue is when I was using the seamless zoom feature
Okay.
on Video Pro. So obviously, with seamless zoom, you can switch between the main lens, the telephoto, and the ultra wide, like really quickly. Like it's just completely natural. It's just one total zoom. Like you just like move the scale up and down. You just go through it
Yeah.
all lenses. It's pretty impressive. But at the same time, all three lenses are activated,
Okay.
which means a lot more heat.
Definitely.
So it spins up the SoC a lot more, and then obviously shuts down quicker. So I managed to get around 2.5 minutes of seamless zoom footage, and then it shut off. I let the phone cool down, turned off the seamless zoom, changed it to the main lens only, and I did 4K 60 for around 17 minutes.
Okay.
So like that seamless zoom is having a massive impact on just being able to record for a long period of time.
I think
But
that's sort of
otherwise,
like
fine.
that's one of the things that really kind of frustrates me about the mobile phone industry. Is like we're trying to have these sort of features into phones, but when it's not implemented correctly, it's just going to damage the brand because it's sort of like, yeah, they did push it out there and try to do that, but they didn't do it. And if they don't sort of like make it work on the next iteration, it's sort of like, oh, we'll just get rid of that feature. It's like, why did we do that? Why did I spend money on this phone for this not to work the way it was
Yeah,
marketed?
I
It's
think
a
I
bit.
think as well. You've got the fact. I mean, the thing is, it does work, but for me, I don't understand why it's enabled by default.
Yeah, yeah. It should be something that you have to turn on.
Because I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people the people that actually go and buy Xperias, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Generally, they know what they're doing because they're buying an Xperia specifically because they want an Xperia for the specific features that it has. So they're going to be aware. Oh, there's this feature. They'll change it and they'll do different things and they'll work it out. Or talking with other owners, they'll work it out as well. But I do think something like that no, you don't really need it. You don't need a seamless zoom. I think for most people that'd be, even most Xperia users, that'd be a lot better to just be there as an optional feature. Just
yeah,
toggle it on when you want it. So yeah, especially when you've got YouTubers that decide to pick one up just to get some quick views. You know,
that's it.
oh, I'm recording. It's shut off. Oh
Oh
no, this
no.
phone's trash.
Yeah,
Don't buy it. Done. That's it. Damage done.
yeah, that's it. And so Sony
So
as a brand, I don't think have like the damage limitation they could try and do for that. To be fair, they'd be like, oh well, they don't really have
no.
the presence behind them or the influencers behind them to play, right, okay, let's debunk this piece of garbage video that's trying to make the product look bad. They just sort of just think, you know what, if people watch that and don't like our phone, they're just not going to buy it, are they really? So
Yeah.
I don't think it really, well, it probably would bother them. It would bother me if I was making a phone and those sort of things were coming out. I'd be like, right, okay, we need someone to either combat this or we need to combat this ourselves.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of just slightly poor choices, like with the seamless zoom, um, and then obviously no real thermal dissipation on the Xperia
Yeah.
compared to some phones. It just really doesn't seem to handle the heat as well. But then in combination, then you've got, as I say, there's a lot of people that buy Xperias in terms of YouTube that don't actually know what they're doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
They're tech channels, but they don't know what they're doing with the tech.
Yeah.
That's the annoying thing.
Mm.
That's the annoying thing. I'm not saying it's all of them,
Mm.
or that they're purposely trying to make the phone look bad, but they don't seem to know how to use it or even talk about the features that actually matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get some big YouTubers occasionally. I'm not naming names, but they'll get hold of a phone and they compare it straight up with a few JPEGs compared to an iPhone. Oh, the
Yeah.
iPhone's brighter, it's better. There we go, done. It it's not helpful. It's not
No.
helpful to them. It's not helpful to consumers because then they don't actually know what they're looking at.
Yeah, they just get more confused. It'd be like me having that phone for the time I've had it, put a video out saying, "Oh yeah, look how it performs on Wild Rift. This is a bad phone. Don't buy it."
Yep.
And that's it done. And
Yeah.
I've not even bothered exploring. To be fair, I have spent so little time with that phone because obviously I bought it just to replace. Because obviously I did trade in my X5 in order to get the TV and whatnot, sort of thing. So I traded in the X5, so I don't no longer have that, which really sucks because I miss that phone now.
Yeah.
That was a straight up sort of like replacement for streaming phone, so it just didn't do what I needed. What that trading was for was to be the replacement of my phone just for a brief while until I get the TV and then just switch it back up to either a Reno 8 Pro or whatever's available at the time. Yet to be decided, but I'm definitely edging more towards the Reno 8 Pro because I was really happy with the Oppo, really happy with the Oppo,
You did
and
have a
how it performed.
good experience with the Oppo, didn't you? Yeah.
Very good. I can't throw much shade on it, to be fair.
No. I think if at some point I get a camera, so I don't need the Xperia as my camera,
Yeah,
I think I would probably swap it for an Oppo
yeah,
just to give it a go.
yeah.
I really fancy giving an Oppo, probably the X5 Pro. Even the Reno 8 Pro looks really good. I mean,
Yeah.
Matt, purposely gaming Matt, he's got one, and he really likes it.
Yeah, I've set quite a few of them up. I've played with it quite a bit. It's a really nice phone, to be honest. The fact that they've actually this year not skimped out and put a 90 hertz screen on the Pro and the normal one, they've actually gone and put 120 hertz in the Pro. Thank God. That was the one
Nice.
thing that stopped me doing it for the previous generations. I was like, well, I don't really want to buy a Pro phone and not have a 90 hertz screen when I know that there's phones cheaper than that in the upper range that have the 120 hertz screen. But yeah, it's just with a flat screen as well. It's a big size, 6.5-inch screen, nice size. I think it'd be good for gaming, to be fair, especially with that MediaTek chip.
Probably
It'd be
would
nice
be
to see what
actually.
that
What
does.
is it? Is it what is it? 1300 Max or something like
Max,
that? I
yeah,
can't remember what it is.
yeah.
That's supposed to be really good. Like the MediaTek stuff now is really good.
Yeah.
It's apparently in terms of just like consistent performance, it's supposed to be better than the current well, not the current Snapdragons, but the ones we've had the last two.
Yeah.
So I'd be intrigued to see how you got on with it if you did pick one up for gaming in particular.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's been a funny one
Very.
so far. I as I say, I like the Xperia for the features. I love the screen. The screen is so nice. Just it's gorgeous.
Yeah. The screen is beautiful.
Fingerprint reader, absolute lightning. The front facing camera is actually a hell of a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite happy with that now. I need to test the streaming features. I haven't tested those yet from the Video Pro app.
Yeah.
I intend to do that at EGX in the next couple of weeks, which should be fun. I'm hoping to get the Sony grip, the Bluetooth grip.
Oh yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
Apparently, when you have that with the Xperia,
Yeah.
you can enable something called endurance mode, and it actually increases the thermal limits on the phone.
Nice.
So, you don't get thermal throttled as much, which actually is pretty cool.
Sounds it, yeah.
So I'm eager to try that. But there's also rumors of this Pro I sequel coming out, which I wanted the Pro I so much. So, we'll have to see what the price on that's going to be insane. So I probably won't be able to get that anyway, but it would be nice.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I've been on the Xperia 1.4 since Saturday,
Hmm.
so I've had it a week now. I've had it exactly a week. Not been impressed with battery life. Battery life's been quite mediocre. I've been having
Yeah.
to, after taking it off the charger at like 9 o'clock,
Hmm.
I need to put it on at around 5 to get it like topped up a little bit before,
Yeah.
to get me through the rest of the day. Which I kind of expected with the 4K screen. It's a battery hog.
Yeah. You can see why Samsung took out their phones. To be fair,
Yeah, yeah,
so I mean, imagine imagine an up to date Samsung phone that isn't the Ultra with a 4K screen. It just
damn dude.
nah.
Can you see why they actually did that though? They didn't really do it
Yeah.
because like, oh, we don't think this tech is really suitable for
Mm.
anyone. It's more, we can't hack it. We
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
make our phones last longer than 2 hours with it.
Yep.
Like that's the problem. I mean that Note 22 Ultra
Yeah.
on an Exynos,
Mm.
hot damn. Like everybody, I see people posting their battery life. All the complaints I see about that phone are battery life.
Yep.
All battery life.
Even my
Even the
complaints
Snapdragon
were.
versions. Even the Snapdragon versions.
Yeah.
So, I I think we probably should talk Samsung a little bit because I've actually had the pleasure of the last couple of weeks of using
The
the old
Fold.
Fold 3, not the
Have
Fold
you
4, Fold 3.
have you still got the S22?
Yes. Right there.
Oh, there you go. Maybe finding that one.
You know what? I actually like the S22 a lot,
Mm.
but I don't like the Exynos.
No, yeah.
The build quality is lovely. The back on that is absolutely fantastic. I love the feel of it.
Yeah.
Size-wise, just feels spot on. It's like having a Pixel 6a.
Mm.
That same sort of size. The 120 Hz screen is nice. Fingerprint reader, ultrasonic, really quick, pretty good. Yeah, camera's decent. Camera's decent. I got some nice pictures from there. I've got an S22 video coming on the channel next week. So yeah, that should be fun. Battery life though,
Mm-hmm.
damn, like it's bad,
Is it?
real bad. I mean, I said the Xperia is not great. The
Mm.
S22, my god, that is not good. I was having to put it on the charger like twice a day at least.
Really?
Yeah, so you get to like mid late afternoon, you're on charger again, just to top it up a bit. And then even though I wasn't charging it full, it'd just be like for a short blast just to get some
Mm.
battery in it. And then I'd be like, end of the day, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to get through tonight. I need to put it on charge again. So it's just, again, like I'd put it on charge probably twice a day. That's
Yeah.
after being on charge overnight.
That was my experience with the Flip 3, to be
Oh,
fair.
yeah, that makes sense.
But now we're
And I
seeing,
imagine, I imagine it's the same on the Flip 4 as well.
but we're seeing battery tests that are the Flip 4s outlasting the S22 Ultra.
Yeah, but that's the S22 Ultra for you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just totally weird. Like
Yeah.
even the Z Fold 4 is outlasting the S22 Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that
Yeah.
with that
It's that little pen
massive
taking all the
screen.
battery, mate.
Yes, that's what it is. It's that battery drain.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I got to charge my pen.
Mad. But like I do find it interesting that this Fold 3 I've really enjoyed. Like
Mm.
using the main screen. Really like it. I don't feel like I'm really using it for anything productive.
Yeah.
That could just be me, down to me not using anything that is,
Mm.
for that sort of thing. All I've
Yeah.
been doing is using it for media consumption. But I do like it. The crease doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me at all. I like the screen. It
Mm.
feels quite nice to use. The outer screen, don't like. Too narrow.
It is very narrow.
Too
Try playing
narrow.
Wild Rift on that, mate.
Oh, frick. But like I said, like the Xperias have narrow displays. They're the narrowest displays out there for a normal phone. But this is a whole new level. Like this thing is mad. Like trying to type on it, the amount of mistakes, it just does my head in. Absolutely does my head in. But the trouble is that I have to play something like Pokemon Go on that screen because the UI doesn't work on the inside screen. Like I think you
Yeah.
mentioned that on the previous stream that we did, that when you were trying to play games, things didn't fit correctly.
Yeah.
So I was having that problem on Pokemon, even though that's pretty much the only game I play. And it was just a pain in the ass.
Slight segue.
So go.
Rainbow Six Mobile, the 7 territories that I was really excited about listing for. EU's not one of them.
You're kidding.
Yep. Canada, US, Mexico,
Oh,
Brazil, Singapore, Philippines, and India. Not the EU.
that's bad times.
Shocking, mate.
That is bad times. We've got that David and Rob vlogs in the chat. I imagine all I'd ever use the phone on folder for is to watch videos, not sure what else it's for. Well,
Videos.
videos. Videos. More videos.
Those videos.
Those videos. Honestly, Mitch, like you're just terrible, terrible, terrible. It is not good. It's not good for those sorts of videos. It's not.
It's very bad for those videos.
It's
Very,
very
very
bad.
bad.
Very bad. The stream's gone downhill. It's gone totally downhill. It's downhill. You know what? The trouble with this, David, I'm assuming it's David. I'm assuming that's you, mate. The trouble with this as it is the aspect ratio. Now you got something like the Find N, which has a smaller outside display, but when you fold it out, it's actually of a proper aspect ratio. This feels too narrow when you're multitasking. So if you want to put like multiple apps up, each side of the display feels too narrow. It feels too narrow for each app, if that makes sense. It's almost like having an app on the outside screen where it's just too narrow. And then you feel like if you split the apps on the inside screen, it's just the same twice. So that for me kind of kills the multitasking aspect. It's nice when you're scrolling through something like Twitter because you get like the full res images proper pop up on the display and it looks really good. Like I do love using this just to go through Twitter and whatnot because typing becomes quite easy with it as well. But I'm the same. I haven't used it for anything other than video. But then I haven't got the S Pen. I've not used it for video editing and things, which I imagine that would be quite good, especially when LumaFusion eventually comes, because they're apparently having a partnership with Samsung on that. So the Fold 4 does look more appealing to me because the outer screen is wider, which means the inner display is also wider in each half as well.
Yeah.
That would probably be spot on for my use. And then the thermal issues that I've had with this, I probably won't have on the Fold 4 because you've got the 8 Plus Gen 1. So it should just be a better performer overall, better battery life, better ratio on the screens. So hopefully I can get hold of one of those at some point just to compare. But I like the Fold 3. The only thing that really lets it down for me is the fact that the apps don't display properly on that inner display and the cameras are mid-range. They're mid-range. Unfortunately.
It's
Not
one
like
of
the
those
S22
phones,
cameras.
yeah, it's one of those phones you could have at least put. Obviously, the 4's done a little bit better with the 50 megapixel camera sensor.
Yeah, it's got the one from the S22.
Yeah, that should have
And
been
I like
there.
it.
Yeah, it should have been there on the previous generation. I mean, you're paying
It
what,
should have, yes.
almost 1,500 quid for this phone. At least add a decent camera, not a 12. If you're going to do 12 megapixel, leave that to iPhone because obviously iPhone just seems to know how to make a 12 megapixel camera look good. But on a Samsung, it's not generally that well,
No.
especially on something like that.
I never liked the 12 megapixel sensors shots from Samsung. I never liked them.
Yeah.
On this S22, which I have just done a video on for Mazillion, and I'm going to be doing, as I say, I've got one coming from my own channel, for this channel,
Yeah.
sorry. This channel, next week. The shots that come out of this are so natural looking. Like the color reproduction is completely different to how it used to be, and I actually really really like the color science that Samsung's putting out there now with these. So if the Fold 4 has got that sensor, I'm I'm pretty sure that I would like that Fold. I really do. So I really hope I can get hold of one.
Yeah.
But for now, for now, um, yeah, I'm probably this is probably my last Samsung for a little while. I would imagine.
See, because within like mobile companies, we have things called like ambassadors. So my
Yeah.
friend, I was with the Samsung ambassador for quite a while when I first joined O2, but then I kind of the pandemic happened. I was trying to wait for an S20, sorry, to be delivered. It never got delivered, so I was like, you know what, sack you off. I don't want it anymore. But no, their program's much better now. So um my friend who works at O2 with me, he's got the S22 Ultra. They're now offering them to say, "Oh, do you want to stay with the S22 Ultra, or do you want the Fold 4?" Obviously,
Wow.
naturally, he's gone for the Fold 4 because it's not
Of
his main
course.
phone. His main phone is iPhone. So having a Fold, his first foldable experience being
Um.
completely free as well. The
Wow.
really, he's really lucky to be fair.
Hey, you never know. We might have a Pixel foldable.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Um. At this Google event, apparently October 6th or
Six, yeah,
something. They've announced it
yeah.
for. Ooh. What do you think? Are you hopeful Google's going to sort of bring some surprises?
Yes and no, because obviously the thing that really upsets me about Google, it could be my perfect phone. It could stop me having to go through so many Androids if it had the one feature I needed for streaming, or at
Yeah,
least
but
some sort of.
Mitch. What if Video Out was one of the surprises?
I don't think it would be. I don't think it
Oh, but
would
what
be.
if it is? What if it
I'd
is?
like to. I'd like to be that kind of optimist, but I don't think it would be.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. I
Hmm,
think they'd have to sort of do some sort of like partnership with, like how Samsung has Dex. Maybe Google will have their own thing, but with Samsung and
that'd
Google
be
sort of
great.
partnershiping on a lot of things, I don't think they would sort of take Dex away from Samsung. Um, you can dream. We can dream. Maybe with the expansion to a tablet, maybe that will have HDMI output. We don't know.
No, no. David asks, "Are foldables the future?" I can't see it. No,
Nope.
I don't think they are.
No.
I think they have a future.
Yes.
Will they replace slab phones? No,
Nope.
because most people don't need a foldable phone.
Nah.
I mean, something like the Flip can become fairly popular, and as the technology sort of matures and they can
It's
get the
more
cost down a lot
accessible.
more,
Yeah.
then a lot more people will buy them. But
Mhm.
I don't see how or why they would replace cheaper slab phones with foldable tech because it wouldn't make sense because it would cost more.
Yeah.
You
I
still
see
got more moving parts.
yeah, I see foldables like the veganism of mobiles. Make it more accessible
Veganism.
and affordable, and it'll take off.
Veganism of mobiles.
It
It's a
is.
good line. It's a good line.
Needs to be more accessible. They need to make it more affordable, but without jeopardizing the quality of the mobile itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, give flip phones a few more years. I think they will be a lot more popular than actual folding outwards phones. So like your slabs, so your phone to a tablet. I think the flip phone will be something that could possibly replace a slab in a lot of people's pockets because of the form factor and the nostalgia as well.
Hello there, Matt. We spoke about you
Hello.
earlier. We spoke about
It's
you
Matt.
earlier in your Reno 8 Pro. If you even still have it, because it's been 2 weeks, and knowing you, you've moved on. In terms of the foldables, the future thing, I would also say that maybe foldables are the future of laptops
Yeah, even though they're already fold to a
because,
point.
yeah, sure. But then you've got laptops now that are coming out with folding screens. So there's always the potential they could do something like a Galaxy Fold in laptop form.
Hmm.
So you've got like a small tablet on the outside and then a bigger tablet when you open it up, or a laptop. So, there's all sorts of things you can do with that. Or even just the fact that a Fold 3, technically, if you had... This is something that I can see Apple potentially doing if they don't decide to sort of segregate things as they have done with like the iPad and MacBooks and things like that. They could quite easily make a foldable iPhone that has video out that could be used like any other Mac. Like hook it up to screens and use it in the exact same way, because it's same silicon, it's ARM architecture,
Yeah.
whatever else.
Yeah.
They could do that. They could do that. So I feel like there's a lot that could be done with foldables yet that hasn't been done. It's
Well, put it
early
this way:
days.
Apple's just
Early.
got always on display. So give it another 3-5 years, then we'll get the
3 to 5 years.
the
That's
Dex
generous.
equivalent. I know. I
Did you
like
see my
being
tweet?
generous.
Did you see my tweet? I mean, that's only going back, what, 9 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2013, I think, when that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't take long.
No, I didn't.
Didn't take them
In
long.
Apple's years, it's sort of like dog years, and it's different.
It is It is, yeah. I mean, they've got that 48 megapixel sensor now.
Yeah, it's only taken them how long?
I mean, Samsung had those kinds of sensors 3 years ago. So, then again, Samsung's not really made great use of it.
No, definitely not. They just like to add it, don't they?
Yeah. Matt still likes the Renault 8 Pro.
Yeah. Solid phone.
Blam's thinking of getting it just to get the freebies.
Well, yeah, not only the freebies,
Partly that.
but yeah, exactly. That
Partly
always helps
that. It
as
is
well.
partly.
Free tablet. I'm not going to turn it down, am I? It's meant to be a decent tablet, the Oppo Pad Air as well.
Yeah,
2K screen.
it is actually. Yeah.
Yes, it's a 60 hertz. Ooh, boogeyman. But
Ooh.
it's a 239 quid thing rather than a 949 quid phone. So
True.
again, you got to have some
You can get
trade-offs.
away with it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have some trade-offs.
I mean, the iPad's still 60 hertz unless you go for a Pro.
A Pro, exactly. Yeah.
Matt's got the free tablet coming.
Oh,
He knows.
yes.
He knows. Well, I'm on O2 Switch Up now, as is Blam and every staff member by the sounds of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So once, as I say, if I can get to the point where I can get a camera, then I might swap the Xperia out for something else and start trying more things, because if I can switch things out, it helps just getting things in for the channel as well. And no doubt Mitch is going to be swapping phones like hotcakes
yes.
to get all these promotions.
Definitely.
And also to give us some insights in regards to mobile gaming. You know what? We haven't even talked about that. The fact that you've joined Ground Attack and it's now me and you. It's a mistake. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
See you later, guys.
Oh, wow. That escalated quickly. If you guys... Oh, here we go. If you guys want to do a video on it, I'll send it to you when I get it. Leave it sealed so you can get an unboxing out of it too. Damn, dude.
Oh, the tablet? Okay.
I mean, Mitch is going to be getting it.
At some point.
So technically, he could probably do that. But, I mean, if you want to do that, Matt, I mean, I wouldn't say, I'm not going to ask.
Do you actually own a tablet?
Bad. Say again?
Do you own a tablet?
I do not.
Do you not?
No. I had an iPad for a little while last year. Because obviously I had my surgery back in August last year.
Yeah.
Over a fucking year. I can't believe it's over a year already. So I had like a standard iPad.
Yeah.
And I didn't really use it a lot.
All right.
So, but I'd still be interested in seeing what that would be like, just because then I could get a taste of the OS at least.
Yeah.
Because I haven't tried an Oppo.
No.
So, at least that would give me a good idea of the OS. What's the hardware like on the on that tablet? What have they got in terms of internals?
Is it 4 gig of RAM? I think it is. It's either 4 or 6. Notepad Air. I'm not going to act like I know it off the top of my head. Um, yeah, so 4 gig of RAM, 64 gigs of storage. And it is your so it's 7,100 milliamp battery. It's a Snapdragon 680 in there as well.
680.
Yeah, but they're boasting the new Samsung thing, which is 4 gigs plus 3 gigs of extended RAM.
Woo! Virtual
Oh,
RAM, virtual
VRAM,
RAM.
that's brilliant, isn't it?
Woo! So basically, that doesn't matter.
No.
No. Well, I sent you the Xperia, so I know I can trust you, Dan. Can you though? Really? It's a fairly big. It's going to be a fairly big box as well with that, though, Matt. So I don't want you to,
Pay at the bottom
waste
for
postage and
postage.
stuff on
Yeah,
that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I appreciate the gesture, though. I really do. You're a legend. You're a legend, dude.
Well, there's my electric bill going up. I've left the bloody oven on for like an hour or two.
An hour or two,
Yeah.
mate. You're gonna get like a $2,000 bill for this month.
That's it, yeah.
Damn. That's it. That's your winter allowance used up right
That's
there.
it, yeah.
My
I'll
gosh.
be going for another loan. I'll be remortgaging my house. What did you do? Leave your oven on for 2 hours. Oh, well, 10 grand sort it? Yeah, go on then.
As we were talking about anyway, me and Mitch were actually in conversations a little while back. We were on about starting a new channel. And we were talking about doing mobile gaming stuff.
Mhm.
So I just had the thought of, well, maybe it'd be good if we could just have Mitch on Grounded Tech with us. And then Grounded Tech be a thing for that is mine and Mitch's, not just Mitch joining me and just sort of helping me sort of thing. It's for both of us. So we decided that Mitch will come on board and we'd actually do everything we were going to do on the separate channel, but do it on Grounded Tech in addition to all the other stuff that we do.
Yeah.
So, welcome aboard and all
Thank you,
that
Sean.
formally. It's a pleasure to have you. Not in that way, but it's good. Well, it was. So yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to actually we're going to have some good stuff coming on the mobile gaming front going forward.
Obviously, we just had the Razer Kishi V2 announced as well. So,
Oh, really? Oh.
interested to see how that differs from the last one. Apparently, it's something to do with the.
Is this it, David? Have I made a colossal mistake?
This is where I went wrong, bringing Robin. Now look at us.
That's where I've
Lol.
made a colossal mistake. Oh, damn. I should have learned from you, eh?
I'll say, yeah.
Eh?
But yeah, no, it's meant to be like the difference is micro switching buttons, the analog triggers, and programmable macros is meant to be the difference in this one. It'd be nice to see how, well, if the analog sticks are the same, there's no point playing a FPS game on these things. They are shocking. It's like trying to play an FPS on a Switch Joy-Con.
Oh, God.
Terrible.
I can't even play Rocket League on a Joy-Con.
See, no, Rocket League I could handle.
I
but
can't do it. I can't do it.
It was just trying to. I think the first experiment I did with the Razer Kishi when I first got it was cloud gaming on the Xbox. I tried to play Rainbow Six Siege, and obviously you got a lot of peeking on that game. So trying to do that with these analog sticks, that just felt like a slab of chocolate when you pressed it across. It just like, it just like there was no sort of like sensitivity to it. They couldn't just like slightly nudge it and it would like turn a little bit. It was just like either all force or no force, and it was just a nightmare.
That's a shame. Does it work all right for things like Wild Rift and that, though?
You can't use it. The Wild Rift doesn't have pad capability.
Oh.
Yeah. The only real MOBA that would have pad capability would be probably Pokemon Unite, but I don't know if that's available in the mobile version rather than just the console.
Yeah. David says, seriously though, it's a good move, especially if you have different strengths. Adding the mobile gaming is something you might not have done before. Now there's a new audience to hit. Good move. Yeah, I'm not very strong on mobile gaming, admittedly. And I think when it comes to the phone conversation now, I think mobile gaming is important.
Hmm.
And Mitch here does a lot of mobile gaming. He's a mobile game streamer, David. That's what he does. You can go and watch him play on Facebook or YouTube, Twitch.
Hmm.
He is occasionally very good.
Occasionally.
Occasionally very good. From what I've seen, from what I
80%
understand.
of
And I
the
don't
time,
understand.
I'm taking that and nothing.
60% of the time, he's great every time. So yeah, welcome back, Jimmy. So yeah, I think it'll broaden out the content
Hmm.
and hopefully just allow us to get more content out. That's the thing as well. And as I say, we're going into it as a joint venture rather than it being like Mitch just coming on board sort of thing.
Yeah.
We've got somebody else that's going to help out with clips and things as well. I'm not going to mention the names, but they're going to give us a hand with certain things as well, which will be great. So we've got some good stuff going forward. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that, Mitch, at all? Or?
No, I think it's just the way tech channels do mobile gaming right now, especially it's just like a little brief interval. So I'd probably say the one that covers the most is probably like Techspert, especially within like a Western sort of creator as well. But then again, he only ever covers Genshin mainly. If it can run Genshin, it's a good phone for him. But there's multiple layers, aspects to what a mobile gaming phone or what a phone should be able to achieve within mobile gaming. Obviously, you've got temperatures, you've got how it maintains frame rate over a long period of time. My streams normally last around about 2 to 3 hours. That's generally down to battery of the phone or me tilted. Obviously, got thermals.
Usually you tilted.
Exactly. Yeah. Thermals, connectivity, stuff like that. So there is a lot more to what is within mobile gaming rather than saying, "Oh yeah, it can run Genshin." There you go, 60 frames per second
Yeah.
Genshin. You're on a good phone there, which isn't
Yeah.
always the case because not everyone plays
Especially,
Genshin.
I think, especially as well with you coming from more of an esports sort of angle.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at, you need things to sort of perform
Yeah.
right and to perform at a good level. So it'd be good to sort of be able to sort of show what works at certain price ranges and what they are like with certain games. Which, yeah, it'd be really good. Be really, really good. Jimmy, so like a Grounded Tech Clips channel.
Yes.
So this is an interesting thing, Jimmy, because a lot of YouTubers have actually made clip channels because the idea with shorts is that they didn't really help the audience on the channel that you were posting them on. So you'd post a short on your own channel, but obviously it didn't bring people in to watch your normal videos. It might get you some subs, but then they wouldn't see the main content. So a lot of people were just making a shorts channel as a separate thing and to just keep doing them that way. There's been a recent change with YouTube. And they announced this, I think, last week or the week before, or maybe the end of the week before, that shorts now do have an impact on your long form content. So say I post a short about Sony Xperia. If I then post a Sony Xperia video, or if I post any video that's a long form video, the people that watch that short will then also get that in their recommendations. That wasn't happening before. You'd only get recommendations for new shorts. So now it affects. You're actually sending more people to your long form content by posting shorts. So it actually makes sense now to have the shorts on your main channel. It makes sense. The only thing I would say is that when you are uploading shorts on your main channel is that you don't do it from mobile. Because if you do it from the YouTube app on your phone, it sends notifications to all of your subscribers. Whereas if you upload it on desktop, it gives you a checkbox to say whether you want to notify everybody or whether you don't. So I've had a couple of times. I mean, you've probably seen it, Jimmy. Other people will have, where I've posted a short from mobile. Didn't realize that it wouldn't notify everybody, and it did. And I actually lost subs a couple of times from that because some people who watch long form content don't want to see shorts at all. So actually uploading it through desktop, you can toggle that off and then not notify everyone, which is great. So we're not going to do a Grounded Tech Clips channel. There is potential that the Grounded Tech Talk streams will just be a general chat, and we might have a separate channel to do a sort of podcast where we'll actually get people on. I think that might be something to possibly look at doing, but we'll see how that goes. This is early days still, so we need to sort of get an idea of what we're doing, work out what we're doing in terms of main content, and the short form content as well, and then we'll start looking at other channels. But the main focus has to be this channel, and then go from there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lou Later does have a clips channel. I do watch quite a lot of those clips, to be fair, because I don't. His streams tend to be very long, and I'm not really a fan of his actual unbox videos and all these sorts of things because I don't really learn a lot. But his general podcast stuff, where he just has segments posted of certain topics, that's quite good. I actually quite enjoy those. So maybe that's something that we might look at doing in future. Maybe we'll have like grounded tech talk clips or something like that. We could do something like that in future, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. But again, we'll also take suggestions from people in the community that want to, if they want to see a specific thing, we'll take things on board. We're always open to feedback. So yeah, I think have we just about covered everything there?
Pretty much. I was just getting a bit carried away looking at the Razer phone cooler, the MagSafe one. I'm thinking of investing and seeing how that actually performs, because I've never actually experienced anything like that, of that kind anyway. I mean, it's around about 60 quid, which isn't the massive ball breaker, but be interesting to see what it does in terms of if I could actually keep my phone charging whilst using that, and see what it does in terms of because obviously the massive thing about playing mobile games and streaming them is the fact that you can't stream them for long enough because your phone doesn't charge, because it affects your frame rate. Your phone then starts shutting down in terms of the brightness to the point where you can't even see shit.
Yep.
And yeah, exactly. So
See, this is why I am desperate for Sony to nail their gaming experience, because they've got the HS power control.
yeah,
That for me is just a total game changer, really. No pun intended. But they need to make sure that everything else is functioning right. I think the 5.4, I think when that comes out, it might be worth you picking that up and trying it out, because I don't think that'll have the same issues. But then the trouble is it's smaller. So
yes, that's exactly it.
that's the trouble.
Yep, I don't like small. Well, I
No,
understand why people like small phones, but I don't like small phones,
no.
especially for what I use it for. I think the only time I've ever played mobile games on a compact phone was when I did my mum's Mini, a 12 Mini.
Oh
That
yeah,
performed
yeah,
really well. But again, because the phone screen's smaller, yeah, graphically it looked nicer because obviously you're not stretching out sort of like pixels, stuff like that. But again, it did heat up quite a bit because it is a smaller phone and you are ramming that sort of like A15 chip hard on it, or was
yeah,
A14, A14 at the time. But it did withstand wall drift, to be fair, for quite some time. So
yeah. I'm interested to see with the Xperia whether the that game attachment. I mean, we'll have to wait for the announcement, but
yeah.
I am intrigued to see whether that actually does the job and actually sorts out the thermal problems whilst playing, and then also being able to have that plugged in at the same time on HS Power Control. That would be quite something.
Yeah, it also depends on how much it costs as well. I think
Yes.
I think the thing for me is the cost, whether it outweighs the new functionality of this thing, if it adds new functionality, and obviously if it's worth it in the end. Basically, if it's actually going to make a difference to this
I think there's
phone.
shoulder triggers on it as well. I think there's some triggers and
Mm.
stuff on there, so that could be interesting. The thing I would say though is that I think next year is the year with Sony once they've got this 8 Gen 2.
Mm.
If the efficiency, as we said before, if the efficiency is actually as good as it's
Yeah.
intended to be,
Hmm.
especially with the same sort of power available, just without the same power draw would be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
If they can just, I mean, if it obviously it depends if it's the thermal issues affecting the screen or not, but
That's it. Yeah.
that's the only thing I worry about.
Mm.
But yeah, we'll have to see. I'd be interested to see what you think of that attachment though for the iPhone.
Yeah, but I might
Just
literally
you're
just
using that
put
anyway, aren't
something.
you? You game on the iPhone. That's your main device.
It
So
is my main one
I
now.
can't
Yeah.
see why it would
Yeah.
make it a worse experience.
No. Yeah.
So
I think it's also I don't like the idea of having like cool air blowing onto my hands as well, because you get a lot of that from like a lot of the tech YouTubers saying like obviously these are cool attachments, but literally when it blasts out air onto your hands and stuff like that, and you it's then changing your whole grip of playing with the phone with having that on there. You'd have to sort of move around. You'd be adds weight to the phone as well. So it's something I do want to buy and see what I can get out of it. To be honest.
where is it? There. Oh no, it's gone. Shit. It's downloaded software update, Jibby. I didn't know. It keeps going off. Fucking thing. Where are you? There. It's doing it. I got the update. Woo! So yeah, I'm getting the update. The Fold apparently is supposed to have an update, but it adds all the new, that sort of multitasking tray at the bottom and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's supposed to add quite a lot of functionality. So I'm kind of waiting for that to come through.
See, I like that. I like that on the Fold 4.
I
I think that's a
really like
really
the
cool
look of that.
feature.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
really good.
I,
I'd use the hell
I
out
can
of
give
that.
Samsung dues sometimes, to be fair, but yeah, that is one of the times I would give it dues. It's a nice little thing to add to a foldable.
But I did just want to mention as well, like when we spoke on the last stream about the Samsung stuff,
Yeah.
and we were talking about the fact on the Exynos, on the mid
Mm.
ranges and everything else, that it was very choppy when you were
Yeah.
sort of navigating and stuff. I don't have that on the Fold 3.
Yeah. Again, that's Snapdragon, is it? I never had that on the Snapdragon version of the Fold. Well,
I don't
of
really
the
get it.
Fold 3.
I
Yeah.
don't really get it very much on the S22.
Mm.
So I
Could have
still
been
think
updates,
it's
maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I still think it's sort of partly. I mean, the S22 still has it a little bit, and especially when it
Yeah.
starts thermal throttling, it's all over the place. But I kind of feel like it's still One UI making the UI a bit too heavy,
Yeah.
and that unless you've got a certain amount of performance behind it, it
Mm-hmm.
then starts to get choppy. That's how I sort of see it at the minute. But
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, I don't have the Snapdragon version of the S22, mate. No, I've just got the old Exynos 2200 version.
Because European
good.
peasants don't get that.
Maybe not till next year.
Yeah.
Apparently it's coming.
Yeah.
And if we're getting the 8 Gen 2 next year, that'd be
It only makes sense.
sweet.
You're bringing out one line of phones that has the Snapdragon. Just bring out the rest.
Yep.
If you want, just put your crappy Exynos in your cheap phones where they're meant to be. But
I mean, I can understand Samsung wanting to use their own foundry.
yeah,
You
but
know?
that is not making it work. Though that's the thing.
No.
As a
But again-
consumer and as somebody that sells the phones as well, and the amount of complaints you get just because of how subpar it is, and even people are clocking onto it now. Like people go and watch reviews, and the people are like, "Well, this person's got this version of the phone, and I've got this version of the phone. Why can't I have this version?" It's like, well, pick it up with Samsung.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Thankfully Samsung will be getting the Snapdragon. Yeah. So what I was going to say is that yeah, I think Samsung just needs to rework Exynos. They just need to work out what they're doing with it. We said before on that last stream when we talked about Samsung that Google's managed it with Tensor on the Samsung fabrication. Why can't anybody else?
Yeah.
It's down to the chip design. You know, it's not like other people don't have products, other companies don't have products made on Samsung's fabrication. Nvidia managed it with the GeForce 3000 series. 3000 series? Yeah, 3000 series. That was on Samsung's foundries, and that was still, yeah, it was a little bit toasty. There was a lot of heat generated, but the performance was still very, very good. And it worked fine. So it can be done if you do just design things right. Yeah. I think that's all I have to say about that.
Definitely.
So yeah, S22 is going back Monday. Fold 3 is going to be going back before EGX. I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max coming, which is going to be very interesting for me. Mitch is trying to convert me, I'm sure.
The product
But,
will do it itself. I'm sure the product will do it
No!
itself.
Don't do
Trust
that.
me.
Don't say that. Don't say it's
I'm
that good.
sure.
I'm also trying to sell my Nothing Phone 1.
Not any bites on that yet?
No, I tried selling it at 400 quid and nothing. Sells for 450 brand new. I'm going to try 375 next.
Yeah.
So we'll just see. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, I'm stuck with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Brill. Good stuff. Right. I think that should wrap us up. We've been an hour and 40 minutes. Bloody hell.
Hey, we managed to ramble on for that long.
I don't know.
And we don't even bash Samsung that much this week as well. We managed to
No,
ramble
I
on for that
know. I'm
long.
kind of disappointed. I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, you know...
They get a week off, mate. They get a week off.
I was expecting us to bash Apple a little bit, but you kind of came out in support of all their gimmicky nonsense. So I
with my
just
little
thought, you know
cape,
what? He
standing
loves the
there
dynamic
like, hey,
island. You
leave
can have
Tim
your
Cook
dynamic
alone.
island. I'm going to go off now to my own dynamic island
Yeah.
on the sofa. I'm going to leave you to do whatever it is you do. Barry, thank you very much, sir. I
Yep,
appreciate
thank you.
you stopping by. I appreciate everybody stopping by. We both appreciate it.
Very
Jimmy
much.
and David, Matt, everybody who has been in. It's been a good one. It's been good fun. We'll try and do them more regular. Because if we can manage nearly 2 hours talking crap, oh my god. Oh my god.
Got some friends that want to say hi.
Oh my
sorry,
god.
sorry, Brad. I'm blocking you out the way.
Oh
go,
no,
Brad.
not Bradley Cooper. Jeez, man.
Just wanted to say hi.
That was a surprise.
Me and my Hollywood boys and girls.
Man, you're so popular.
I know. Look at me. It's all the wild
celebrity.
rift. It's all the
Such
ones
a
I trained.
celebrity. This is it. He's becoming an esports star, and even
That's it.
Hollywood's getting in on it.
Yep.
Right, we're going to try and do this a bit more regular. If we can manage like nearly 2 hours of talking crap like this, I imagine we could maybe do like an hour stream, maybe once a week if we get the chance. We'll see what we can do about that. But until the next one, folks, take it easy, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you soon. Toodaloo.